Today I am making vegan manicotti. Have no desire to get into the pronunciation wars, but this seems about right to me. So about 2 hours prior, you're going to want to soak 3/4 cup of cashews in water and put that aside. We're going to get to work on the filling, which would normally be ricotta cheese, but we're going to start by grinding up 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds with 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Next, we're going to roughly chop up a handful of parsley. We're going to take 2 blocks of tofu and crush them by hand at first. 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, loadable lemon zest, parsley back in the bowl. Then we're going to crush some garlic, mince it, make sure you knock some on the floor. Then we're going to put 1/2 of it in the food processor. Grind it up a bit. And then we're going to add the other 1/2. And we have a nice creamy tofu ricotta. Now I'm going to saute some seitan. Start by mincing some garlic to go with the seitan. This is store-bought seitan. Sometimes I can make the seitan myself, but I was a little lazy here and didn't make it. I'm cutting it up pretty fine because I want to get it sort of like crisp and hard, not real soft. And I sauteed it for about 8 minutes with some garlic and olive oil. But it didn't really come out the way I wanted. It was still kind of soft and chewy, so I decided to throw it in the oven at 375 degrees for about 8 or 10 minutes. It did come out of the oven a bit crispier, so more what we wanted. Next, I measured my casserole dish, which measured about 10 inches across, and my lasagna sheets measured 8 inches, so I'm going to cut them in half and make 2 rows of manicotti. The fresh lasagna sheets just need to run cold water over them, and they're good to go. Next, I'm going to put together my tomato sauce, which I'm going to leave uncooked until it goes into the oven. 36 ounces of crushed tomato. And then we are going to do a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Some fresh garlic and thyme. Teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper. And then a 1/2 tablespoon, teaspoon and a half of smoked paprika, which I use in almost everything because I think it's amazing. Then I'm just going to mix everything together and the sauce is ready to go. Going to put in the seitan into the tofu ricotta. Mix it around. And our filling should be ready to go. I don't know if I showed it here, but I added some Kalamata olives to the filling as well. Now I'm going to complete the cream sauce that's going to go on top. So we return with our cashews, 3/4 cup of water, and a tablespoon of cornstarch. I don't know if I showed here, but I'm sure I added a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of olive oil, and then I am going to add, in this case, some store-bought Kite Hill almond milk cream cheese. Just trying to get it kind of pasty and thick. You don't want it all runny. So I added 4 ounces of the Kite Hill almond milk cream cheese to complete our cream sauce. And then you're just going to blend it in the food processor give it a few minutes. You don't want it to be too grainy. You want it to be as fine as possible. And this is going to go on top of our manicotti. Now we're going to put half the tomato sauce on the bottom of the pan and then start to roll our manicotti. So you're going to take about a big spoonful or 2 small spoonfuls and fill it, roll it. You don't want them to double roll. You want the pasta to be one single layer, and you want to roll them and then put them seam down. And you put the other half of the tomato sauce on top, spread it around, and then after that we're going to put our cream sauce on top. I usually put Kalamata olive spread in the tomato sauce, but I forgot, so I wound up putting it on top, which made it look pretty ugly. So that's not real desirable, but it's still going to taste good. You want to bake it at 375 for about 10 minutes, and then add the cashew cream sauce and bake it for another 10 minutes. You don't want that cream sauce to get dried out, so only about half the time are you going to have that sauce in the oven. Okay, so finally we're going to get a little fancy by chopping up some red onion and sauteing that in olive oil on medium heat for about 7 minutes. And then we're going to deglaze it with about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Turn off the heat. Let those onions soak up that vinegar. And then we're going to put down some parchment paper on a baking sheet and bake those onions for about 8 minutes. Then once the onions are done, we are going to put them on top of the manicotti with some fresh basil leaves and some fresh thyme, and we are done. This is now ready to eat, and we ate it all. Well, maybe not all of it, but we ate a lot of it.